Do not disturb.
Hopefully won't hear this daily visit.
Hey, friends. We do need a little bit more light. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's if I just get out of the way.
This.
Try that. Yeah, it gives a little more. That's okay. Okay. Hey, y'all. There's Ellen and Honey.
The warm up with Ellen.
The warm up with Ellen. Here we go.
All right, everyone here. That's Britney Spears. Warm it up. Shake it out. And let's go. Come on. Big lunges. Let's go. Let's go. The heart rate up. Let's go. Give me your. Now it's work. 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 Work the other side. Work. Work. Oh, get it, honey. Work it. Work it. Best moonwalk. You got it. Best moonwalk. You got it. Oh, shit. This is fun.
Just some light fun before class. Okay. 4:57. Hey, y'all, 7 of you. We're gonna do some hip stuff today. I can't play music because it gives me some weird feedback. Like it sounds like wow, wow, wow when I play music, so I'm not gonna be able to do that. So if you want to put on some music at your own home, and that way you can listen to whatever you want instead of maybe hating the music that I play, I wouldn't be offended. It's kind of weird. But we'll just wait a few more minutes. It's only 4:58, so we'll wait a couple minutes. I think the lighting is okay. Whoa, honey, what do you got eating there?
Real honey puppet show.
Awesome party. Anthony Bello, are you on?
Shout out to Anthony for being the first guest on our YouTube channel. We're here to talk to you today about hips.
Hips. It's all in the hips.
It's all in the hips.
All in the hips. Yeah, it's all in the hips. Yeah. It's all in the hips. All right. What time is it? 4:59. Okay. I'm psyched that you guys are all here. For this class, you're going to want like blocks, or if you don't have yoga blocks, which I'm sure most of you don't have them at home. Who does have them at home except a yoga teacher?
Exactly.
So I would grab maybe some books, like some thick books that you can balance, like you can kind of use as stability. You'll see why in a little bit, but basically something to like rest your hand on or whatever if we're in any sort of like lunge or whatever. So 2 books, and Allie, you're gonna want a blanket and for your knee, and maybe some pillows. I don't think that we're not gonna be really sitting for very long. We're gonna be mostly in on our feet or on our backs. So okay, so it's 5 o'clock. All right, we will get started. Hello, everybody. I feel much more awake for this class than I did the 6 a.m. class, which is good. Ellen, my roommate, is over there with me. She's waving hello. Say hi. And Honey Child, her pupper, whom I make an appearance a few times. So we're doing a lot of hip openers today. Actually, I shouldn't say hip openers. That's not the right word. It's hip mobility. Because you could, by saying hip open your hips, some say it's dangerous. So we're going with mobility. So super stoked that you're here. I just want to start by saying that this is really fucking crazy times that we're in, and that showing up to your mat and giving yourself some time to really breathe and slow down for a minute is exactly what we all need right now. So I appreciate you for showing up, and I appreciate that you're doing this for yourself and for everybody else around you as well. So something that a friend, Britt, I think you're on, sent to me the other day. She said, it was on Instagram, it was a quote that said that I think that is a really nice sentiment for us as we go through the practice, and something to really think about in these crazy times. But it says, what if the universe is trying to get us to slow down, to stop producing, to stay home and let the earth breathe a little without all the extra pollution we cause daily? To take a step back and realize how we really impact Earth and one another. That we aren't as significant or in control as we think we are. A virus can come through and wipe us all out, but Earth will still be here. We are all connected. Just like we can spread a disease, we can also spread love, kindness, and positivity. Use this time for reflection of your contribution in the life that you're living. Slow down and finally hear yourself again. The universe is always speaking to us if we are willing to listen. So I thought that was like a wonderful way to look at this. Obviously, it's a really shitty situation that we're all in, but everything in life is how you react to it. And if we can take this time to realize the good in this, that this is happening, or the good in all this, as little as there may be, there that we can sort of have go on day by day with a better attitude and a better outlook on life. So that was Honey. She's definitely having more appearances. But okay, so. For those who joined us late, we're just grab some block, I'm sitting on a block, but grab a block or a book, something that models a yoga block essentially. So we're going to want that. And we're going to start in child's pose. So that means we're coming onto our knees. Allie, you might need a blanket here. Take your knees about this width apart. So you want them as wide as your mat, and then your toes are coming together. And then you sit back on your feet, on your heels. And you start walking your hands out in front of you as long as you can get them. And then just rest your forehead onto the mat or onto a block or a book or a pillow if you can't put your head down onto the mat. So we're going to start here in child's pose with your forehead flat on the mat or the block. And take this time to start to tune into your breath. So not necessarily, taking deeper breaths at the moment, but just start to notice what the breath is doing. Maybe now you start to lengthen the breath. Taking deeper inhales through the nose and equally as long exhales through the nose. And see how long you can make those inhales and those exhales. Maybe you count to 5, maybe you count to 8, maybe you count to 10. Seeing just how much air you can draw into the lungs and how much space that you can create in between the rib cage, in the upper back, in the belly, and in the chest. And then with each exhale, seeing how much you can contract, seeing how much you can push out of that exhale. And just when you feel like you push out everything, push a little bit more. And at the top of your next inhale, I want you to pause just for a moment and hold the breath there. And then exhale when you're ready. And at the bottom of that exhale, just pause briefly for a moment. And then start to inhale again when you're ready. Continuing to take those pauses at the top of each inhale and at the bottom of each exhale. We're practicing a form of breath control, or what us yogis call pranayama. And this just helps to lower the stress levels in the body, to help center us in our practice and bring us to the present moment. Maybe you start to roll your forehead back and forth across the mat or the block. So we're just massaging that third eye center, that forehead space. Continuing to breathe as deeply as possible through the nose. And just take about 5 more rounds of breath here in this space. Maybe you walk your fingertips out a little bit further and sink your hips back even further back to your heels. Let's take one more round of breath together. Take an inhale through the nose. Hold briefly at the top. And then exhale out the mouth. On your next inhale, start to walk your fingers out to the left side of your mat. So we're staying in cow pose, we're just walking our fingers over to the left, our hands over to the left to get a side body stretch in the right side. So you should feel an opening in your right side here. If you feel like you can have a little extra, stack your right palm on top of your left. And take 3 deep breaths here. Inhale 1. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. Last breath here. Inhale. And as you exhale, start to walk your fingers back towards the center of your mat. And now over to the right side. If you can stack those hands on top of each other, your left goes on top of your right. So now we're opening up the left side body. Take 3 deep breaths in here. Inhale 1. And exhale out. Inhale 2. And exhale. Inhale 3. And exhale, walk back towards the center of your mat, those hands to the center. And we're going to inhale, we're going to come up into tabletop pose. So Allie, this is where you're going to want a blanket underneath your knee. We're coming into tabletop, so we're stacking our shoulders directly over our wrists, and our hips are directly over our knees. On the inhale breath, we're going to drop our belly super low, and we're going to pull our chest through our shoulder blades, pinch the shoulder blades at the back, and then tip your chin up and look up. And then on the exhale breath, we're going to round and curl. So pull the low belly in, drop the tailbone down towards the earth, puff up the upper back, and tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale, come the other way. So we're dropping the belly low, lifting the chin, lifting the chest. And then exhale, round and curl. Inhale, drop it low. Drop it low, drop it low. And exhale, round and curl. I'm sorry, I had to. Inhale, drop the belly low, lift the chin and the chest. And then exhale, round and curl. And then on the inhale, we're going to return the tabletop. I want you to lift, it's going to be hard to see, but I'm going to face you going this way. So we're going to lift our right knee up to the side like this, like we're a dog. And we're going to start to make some hip circles here. So keep breathing here. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Reverse the direction of the circles. And then straighten that right leg back. Flex the foot. So you don't want like a wiggly foot like this. You want to flex the foot and keep the leg super engaged. Pull the low belly in, draw the ribs together. If this is enough for you, if this is pretty challenging, I would stay here. If not, if you feel like you have a stable enough core to take this even further, start to reach your left hand forward like you're shaking somebody's hand. So take deep breaths here. Inhale through the nose and exhale out. Allie, modification for this is taking your tucking your toes under. And this is going to be way harder, but tucking your toes under and doing it this way, lifting your knee up. So 3 more deep breaths here. This is some core warm up. Exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale out. And inhale 3, last breath. And exhale out. So we're gonna place our back foot at a 45-degree angle onto the mat. We're gonna take our left palm and place it onto the mat, and then turn your back. We kind of did this on the 6 a.m. class, but start to angle your back leg out towards the outside of your mat. We're coming into a modified side angle. So I'm gonna turn this way to show you. But we're coming into a modified side angle like this. So your foot is kind of turning out like this as a kickstand. So inhale here, and exhale. Inhale 2, and exhale. If you want a little bit extra challenge, lift that leg off of the ground. Inhale 3, exhale out. One more breath here. And then exhale, release your foot back down to the mat. We're coming back into tabletop pose. So stacking the shoulders directly over our knees, or I'm sorry, shoulders over our wrists and hips over our knees. And then we're gonna take that left leg out, the left knee out, and start to make hip circles on the other side. So start to make those circles one direction, keeping your breath steady and strong. And then reverse the directions of the circle. And then extend that left leg, sorry. Extend the left leg long behind you. Flex that foot so you're stamping the wall behind you. And then engage that back leg. So none of like this, we want a strong extended leg. So if this is enough, stay here. If you want a little bit extra, reach the right arm forward. So we're reaching opposite leg and opposite arm. Pull the low belly in, draw the ribs together. Even puff the upper back up. So you can use the hand on the mat to really press into the mat and give yourself some stability. Spreading the fingertips wide as much as possible. Continuing to breathe deeply, strong, steady breath. In and out through the nose. Allie, if you need that modification, just come up under the toes, lift off the knee. That's a lot. That's a lot more core work there. One more breath here. And then exhale, release the back foot down to a 45-degree angle. Place the right hand down flat on the mat and then angle that back leg out like a kickstand and reach the left arm up towards the sky. Modify the side angle pose. So in this pose, I want you to think about creating a really long line of energy from the outside edge of your foot all the way to the crown of your head. So think about like if your spine were to go in opposite directions, it's one long straight line. So we don't want to like crunch over or anything like that. And then we want to see if we can push our right hip flexor out in front of us or out towards the room in front of us. So it's almost like wrapping the outer hip out like towards the back of the room. Take one more inhale breath here. If you want that up level, you can lift the back leg. Inhale 2. And then exhale, release. We're coming back into tabletop pose. And then we're going to tuck our toes under. Start to walk your hands about 6 inches in front of you. Then you're going to tuck your toes, lift your hips, press back into downward dog. So I want you to look down at your hands really quick and check to see if your fingers are spread as wide as possible. And then I want you to push all of your weight into your hands like you're pressing out of your wrists. And then press into the the pointer finger and the thumb. So we want more of the weight into that side of the hand, but our fingers want to be spread as wide as possible. And then you can keep a slight bend in the knee, but really press firmly into those palms. And then take the triceps and roll them out and underneath so that your biceps are facing up towards the ceiling. Take 3 deep breaths here. You can start to pedal it out, bending one knee at a time, placing one heel at a time down onto the mat, opening up the calf muscles. Continuing to press really, really firmly into the palms, lifting the hips higher in space, and seeing if you can pull the rib cage together, cinch at your waist, cinch at your ribs, so you have a long, flat spine. On the inhale breath, your next one, we're going to lift our right leg up towards the sky, keeping the foot flexed here. There you go. Yep. And then bend the knee and then open up the hip. So we're kind of like, yeah, there you go. So we have this like little weird 3-legged dog here with our hip open and our knees bent. And you can try to pull your heel into your glute. So you're really squeezing, my hat's falling off, squeezing your hip or your heel into your glute. So take an inhale breath here and exhale out. One more inhale. Exhale, straighten the leg and then return to downward facing dog. Set the right leg down. On your next inhale breath, reach your left leg high to the sky, keeping the foot flexed. Bend the knee and then open up the hip. Pull that heel into the glute. And 2 big breaths here. Ah! I'm falling. One more inhale here. On the exhale, extend the leg straight and then come back into downward facing dog. Take 1 big breath into downward facing dog. 1 last inhale. And as you exhale, walk your feet towards the front of your mat to meet your hands. On the inhale breath, come up about halfway. You can place your hands on your shins, on the mat, or on a block or a book if you have them. This is pretty easy right here. We want a long, flat spine. So see how my spine, I'm not like curving or anything like that. I just look like Tina from Bonus Burgers there. So we want a long, flat spine, halfway lift. And then on the exhale, we fold. So grab here. I want you to grab opposite elbows and bend really generously into the knees so that your ribs are resting onto your thighs. So bend your knees so that you're fully, and you could literally, it could look like this, and then maybe slowly start to straighten. But I want you to bend your knees so that you're just fully resting. Grab opposite elbows and let your head and your neck hang super, super heavy. And maybe you sway side to side like a rag doll. Yeah, good. Breathing through the nose. Strong, slow, steady breath. Take 1 more deep breath here. And exhale out the mouth. Inhale, we're slowly going to start to rise up. Slowly with our knees bent. And we're meeting at the top of our mat in mountain pose. So with mountain pose, our toes are our middle toe, big toes. Wow, sorry. No, our second toes are pointed straight forward. Sorry. And our feet are about, let's try hips width distance apart this time. So hips width distance is usually about 2 fists. So if you take your fists and you measure them in between your feet, that's about like at our hip joints. So we want hips width distance apart, a slight bend in the knee, and then we want to suck our, we almost want to like pull our quads up towards our hip flexors. And then you want to pull your tailbone down towards the ground, pull the low belly in, draw the ribs together, and then soften at the shoulders, and then take your hands to your side here. So this is our starting pose, Tadasana. On the inhale breath, reach your arms up towards the sky. And on the exhale, bow forward, forward fold. Keeping the knees bent here. Pull this up to the side a little bit. We're in forward fold. Come up on the inhale halfway, placing your palms on to your shins. And then exhale, plant your hands onto the mat in front of you. Step back into plank pose. And I'm going to offer 2 variations here in Chaturanga, or for a Vinyasa. You can either come all the way down to your belly, or if you want to do that halfway, come up here. So in Chaturanga, really quick, sorry, I just want to explain this so that you guys know. So on Chaturanga, we're not dipping our shoulders below our elbows. We want to keep them up in line with our elbows, so our arms at a 90-degree angle, and our elbows are pinned to our sides. So that's the Chaturanga push-up. It's called a tricep push-up for a lot of other people. But anyway, so you're either in Chaturanga or you're all the way in your belly. If you're on your belly, we're coming up into low cobra. So get light in the palms and press the tops of your feet onto the mat. And then lift your back, or lift your chest and your shoulders up off of the mat. And then in Chaturanga, you know where to go here, upward facing dog. And then on the exhale, downward facing dog. So for those in baby cobra, that transition sort of looks like either this and then back here, or if you want to go for that full push-up and then back in downward facing dog, you can. So we're in downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath here. Exhale out. Inhale 2. And exhale out. Inhale 3. And on your exhale, walk your feet towards the front of your mat to meet your hands. On the inhale, come up halfway. Find that long, straight spine. And on the exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, keeping your knees bent here. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, release your hands, come through center and prayer. On the inhale breath, reach your arms up towards the sky. On the exhale, we fold. Keeping those knees bent. On the inhale, come up halfway. On the exhale, plant your hands, step back into plank pose, lower all the way down to your belly or lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. And on upward facing dog, make sure that you have your shoulder blades pinched in your back and you're softening at the elbows here. We don't want to lock on elbows, so keep it soft bend at the elbow. And then exhale, press back up, downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale out. Inhale 2. And exhale. Inhale 3. On your exhale, walk your feet towards the front of your mat. You can step or hop or float, however you want to get there. Take an inhale, come up halfway. And on the exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Reaching your arms up towards the sky. Maybe your palms come to touch. And then exhale, hands come through center to prayer, samastitihi. On the inhale breath, reach your arms up towards the sky. And then exhale, fold. Keeping your knees bent. On the inhale breath, come up halfway. And on the exhale, fold. Place your palms onto the mat. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway down or all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. Last breath here. Inhale. And exhale, walk your feet towards the front of your mat. Step or hop or float, however you want to get there. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. The arms come up overhead. And then exhale, hands come through center to prayer. Moving on, we're going to do, that was sun salutation A. Now we're going to move through a few rounds of sun salutation B. So inhale, come into chair pose. So chair pose, our toes want to be together, our heels are slightly apart. Our hips are sitting back into a chair. Pull the low belly and draw the ribs together so you're not arching the back like this. We want a strong back. And then reach your arms out in front of you. You can come all the way up, take it out wide like a V. Anywhere where you feel like your shoulder has its limits. So we're in the chair, inhale breath here. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands on the ground, step back into plank pose, lower halfway down, chaturanga, or all the way. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it in between your legs, your hands. And then turn your back foot down to a 90-degree angle. Walk your front foot out a little bit out to the edge of your mat so that your feet are not quite parallel, they're more on train tracks. And then rise for warrior one. So in this pose, we want to put a lot of pressure on that outside edge of our foot. And our front knee should be right stacking on top of our ankle. And then in warrior one, our shoulders and our arms are facing forward. If you want to make this a little easier, take your feet even wider. So inhale here, 1. And exhale out. Inhale 2. Exhale out. Inhale 3. And then exhale, bring your hands back down towards the mat. Release your heel off of the mat. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Other side, inhale, reach the left leg to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands. Turn that back foot down to a 45-degree angle. Maybe widen the stance a little bit. On the inhale breath, we come up all the way to warrior one. So again, check your knee, make sure it's right over your ankle. And you're putting all that pressure on the outside edge of your back foot. And then make sure that, try to see if you can pull that left hip down in space and push the right hip forward. Again, checking in with your knee right there. So when I do that, my knee isn't right over my ankle. So I want to make sure that it's stacked directly above. Take one more inhale breath here. And exhale out. I lied, one more breath. And then exhale, plant your hands on towards the mat. Release that back heel. Step back into plank pose. Lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale upward. And exhale downward. 3 deep breaths in here. Inhale 1 and exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale. Walk or step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sink the hips down. Reach the arms up towards the front of the room. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, stand straight and tall. Inhale, chair pose. Drop the hips low. Reach the arms forward. Pull the low belly in. Draw the ribs together. Take that arch out of the upper back or lower back. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, make your way through your vinyasa. So chaturanga. Oh, honey! Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing. I'm sorry.
She's fine.
You're in my way.
She's fine.
Take an inhale breath. Reach your right leg up towards the sky. And then exhale, step it through. Come into warrior 1. So drop that right heel down to a 45-degree angle. Widen the stance if you need to. Rise for warrior 1. Take an inhale breath here. And then exhale, plant your hands on towards the mat. Step back into plank pose, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward. And exhale, downward. Inhale, reach your left leg to the sky. And then on the exhale, step it between your feet or your hands. Roll that back ankle down, or the back heel down to a 45-degree angle. Set it up for warrior 1. So widen the stance if you need to, and then rise. Take an inhale breath. And exhale, plant your hands down towards the mat. Release the heels, step back into plank pose, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Take 3 rounds of breath here. Maybe you open mouth, exhale to release a little heat. So inhale and exhale out the mouth. Inhale 2. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale 3. Exhale, make your way towards the front of your mat. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sink your hips low. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, rise. Okay, moving on from here. We're going to go through a series of standing postures, some warriors. You're definitely going to want your block nearby, block or book, whoever you want to. I'm going to use a foam roller too, but just to have something to support. So have those nearby. Okay, on the inhale breath, we reach our arms up towards the sky. And on the exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, make your way back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Inhale, reach your right leg up towards the sky. Keep your legs straight. Keep your hips closed. And on the exhale, we're bringing our knee through, placing our foot in between our hands. Allie, don't drop your knee here, but everybody else, drop your back knee. We're coming into a low lunge. So in low lunge, we don't want to think about our hips or pelvis coming forward like this. This is kind of counterproductive to what we want to do. So think about having a 90-degree angle on your legs, like both of your legs, so your hips are right over, your knees right over your front ankle and your hip is right over your back knee. So we're at a 90-degree angle here. And instead of having our hips sort of tilted or pelvis backwards, we want to bring our pelvis forward, almost like we're thrusting our hip flexors forward and up. So we're in a low lunge here. Reach your arms up towards the sky and really press firmly down into the top of the foot, into the back shin. Take an inhale breath here and exhale. On your next inhale breath, tuck your back toe, lift your back knee. We're in a high lunge now. And then on your next inhale breath, we're going to roll our foot to a 45-degree angle. We're coming into warrior 2. So again, we want heel to arch alignment here. So the front heel should be in line with the back arch of your foot. You want your knee right over your ankle, and you want your shoulders facing the side of the room. So sometimes I kind of like to do this where I'm like, okay, my shoulders are on the side, I'm looking towards the side of the room before I even do anything. And then open up your palms up towards the ceiling first, wide like a T, and then flip the palms. And now look forward. And your shoulders want to be stacked right over your hips. We don't want to be kind of like this. We want to be up towards this way. So my spine is fully straight right now. My pelvis is neutral as can be. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Start to tip forward like somebody's pulling your front leg or arm forward. Tip as far forward as you can and then tip down in a triangle. So you could use a block here. You could either rest your hand on your shin. But if you can't, if you're like this and you're crunching your side, we want to find as long a straight spine as much as possible here. So don't crunch over like this. Find a place for your hand that you can maintain the integrity of the spine. So we're in triangle here. Inhale, breath 1. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale. On the inhale breath, we're going to turn our feet to face the front of the mat, or the side of the mat. So we're facing the side of our mat here, and we're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So keep a soft bend in the knee here, and then come forward on your feet. So you're more on the ball and the toe of your foot, your weight, so that your hips are over your heels. And then you can take your hands either on towards the mat, on your hips, on your ankles, wherever you want to go, wherever feels good for you. Right now, I'm just going to take mine down towards the floor. And then I want you to squeeze the outer hips, squeeze your glutes together like you're protecting those connection points of the hamstrings and the glute muscles. So squeeze the outer hips together, squeeze the glutes. Take an inhale breath here and exhale. On the inhale, slowly start to rise up and then start to walk your hands towards the front of your mat. Turn your foot towards the front. Turn your back heel up and then walk your front foot, toe heel it out towards the side of your mat. So we're coming into a lizard lunge. So this kind of looks like this. So both your hands are on the inside of your leg. So this is a lizard lunge. And you can keep your knee, I'm going to offer a couple adjustments here, but you can keep your knee up like this. You can drop your back knee. You can come into the forearms. But when you're on the forearms, I want you to see how my back is curved. I can't go all the way down here. If you can get down to your forearms with keeping your spine straight, you can please do that. But if you're crunching over, stay with a long flat spine. So I'm going to come right here. This is plenty for me. And then I want you to engage the back leg. Keep a little bit of buoyancy in that. So this is a lizard lunge. So take one more last breath here. And then exhale out. Inhale, step that front foot back into high plank. And then exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. So that's one round. We're going to keep that sort of flow going. And we're going to just add on throughout the rest of the class. Offer some up levels, some modifications, and that sort of thing. So on the inhale breath, reach your left leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it in between your hands. Lower the back knee. Allie, don't lower it here. Come up into that low lunge, reach your arms up towards the sky. And again, we're finding those 90-degree angles here. So none of this, I don't want any of this. Stack into a 90-degree angle. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale, tuck the back toe, lift the knee, high lunge. I'm going to turn around here so you can see it. And then exhale, turn the back foot down to that 45-degree angle or 90-degree. Find heel to arch alignment. We're finding warrior 2. So stack the the left knee right over the ankle. We're finding the shoulders right over the hips. A lot of our weight, we're putting equal pressure into that outside edge of the back foot. Arms are straight out to a T. Make sure your shoulders are square to the side of the room. Start with your palms facing up and then flip them and then look forward. Nice. And then like somebody is pulling you from behind, make sure that your shoulders are right over your hips. Take an inhale breath here. And exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Start to reach forward like someone's pulling your front arm as far as possible. And then tip forward, triangle pose. So I'm going to have my, just so I'm not crunching over like this, I'm going to place my hand right on top of my shin. Never place it on your knee, always on your shin or your thigh. So take an inhale breath here and exhale. And then whenever, for this posture, a lot of times I feel it right here. And I can sort of accentuate that by pressing firmly into the outer edge of my back foot. And then pressing sort of my right hip forward in space. Take an inhale breath. And then exhale, turn your feet to face the side of your mat. We're coming into that wide-legged forward fold. This time I want you to take your hands, clasp your hands behind your back, and then reach them over top of your head. Keep that soft bend in the knees, squeeze the glutes together, and your toes should be slightly pigeon-toed here. Inhale, 2. Exhale. Last breath, inhale here. And then exhale, slowly start to rise. And then start to walk your hands towards the front of the mat, turning the feet to face the front of the mat. We're coming to that lizard lunge again. So we're toe heeling the foot, left foot out towards the side of the mat, placing both palms on the inside of your foot. And we're coming into that lizard lunge. So you can drop the back knee, come onto your forearms, whatever you want to do. So walk the foot out, walk your left foot out even further. So both your hands, yeah, there you go. And you can keep right here as you are, or you can drop the back knee, untuck the toe, anything you want to go, anywhere you want to go on this one. This is like serious groin opening here. Take an inhale breath and exhale. One more breath here. And then exhale, place that left foot back to meet your right plank pose. Exhale, lower halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Take a deep breath, inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. Inhale, reach your right leg to the sky. And exhale, step up in between your palms. Keep your knee lifted this time. We're coming all the way up into high lunge. So yeah, beautiful. And if you find yourself a little bit out of balance here, take your feet wider. So take a wider stance. And in this pose, it's the same thing with the low lunge, where I want you to take a generous bend in that back knee. So rather than sort of this way, like this like long lunge where our pelvis is like tipped forward, we want to bend the back knee so we can have a neutral pelvis and neutral spine. So you can kind of see the difference there, like with like the way that my, see how that is? Yeah, it's like, I know that you can't see. So we're in a high lunge here. So take an inhale breath. I gotta turn the direction. And then on the exhale, we're opening up to warrior 2. So finding that heel to arch alignment, spin the back foot down to a 90 or 45 degree angle. Stack the shoulders right over the hips. Stack the front knee right over the ankle. Take an inhale breath here. And then exhale, straighten the front leg. Start to tip forward. And then find triangle pose. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale. Inhale 3. Exhale, turn your feet to face the side of the mat. Come into that wide-legged forward fold. Take any arm variation that you want. Take an inhale breath and wide-legged forward fold. And then exhale. Inhale, rise all the way up. So we're here, our hands are on our hips. I want you to spin your feet out so that we have our external rotation of our hips. So we're kind of in this plie position. And then start to sink your hips as low as you can. And then in this pose, I want you to see if you can wrap the outer hips in towards this, the back of the room and towards towards the bottom of your mat, and then try to wrap the inner thighs up. So we're sort of creating this sort of movement. And then tuck your I shouldn't say tuck, pull your tailbone down towards the mat, pull the low belly and draw the ribs together, and then reach your arms out in front of you or up to the sky, goddess pose. Take an inhale breath. On the exhale, sink a little deeper. Inhale here, and exhale. One last breath, inhale. Exhale, straighten the legs. Turn to face the front of your mat. So our right leg should be forward. And then we're coming into that lizard lunge. So walk your right foot out towards the edge of your mat and place both palms on the inside of your right foot. Find that lizard lunge. Take one breath here. And exhale. Inhale, place the right foot back to meet the left, high plank. And then exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your left leg to the sky. And exhale, step it through in between your palms. We're finding that high lunge. So again, bend that back knee so you can have a neutral pelvis and a flat spine. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Inhale, breath here. And exhale. Inhale, 2. And exhale, go flip around. Inhale, 3. And then exhale, open it up, warrior 2. So again, we want to find that heel to arch alignment. Our front heel back to our left arch. Sorry, front heel to back arch. Shoulders are right over the hips. Knee is right over the ankle. Take an inhale breath. And exhale. Inhale, 2. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Start to reach forward. Reach, and then tip. Triangle pose. Inhale, breath here. And exhale. Don't lock out this front leg. Keep a soft bend in that. Inhale, 3. And then exhale, turn to face the side of the mat. So both toes are facing forward, slightly pigeon-toed. This time, take your hands clasped behind your back and over your head. Inhale, 2. And exhale. Inhale, start to rise all the way up to standing. Turn your feet out, external rotation. We're coming to that goddess pose again. So try to roll the inner thighs up towards the ceiling, outer thighs down towards the mat. Pull the low belly in, tuck the ribs. Pinch the ribs together, tuck the tailbone down towards the sky. I'm sorry, down towards the mat. And reach your arms up. Take an inhale breath. And exhale, sink deeper. Inhale, 2. And exhale. Inhale, 3. And exhale, straighten the legs. We're turning to face the front of our mat. We're finding lizard lunge. So our left foot is forward. Walk that left foot out towards the edge of your mat. And place the palms on the inside of your left foot. So take this wherever you want to go with this. Onto the forearms, knee down, wherever you like. Take an inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And then exhale, step it back into plank pose, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Beautiful. Let's take 3 rounds of breath here. Exhaling out of the mouth. Okay. And on your last breath, we're going to inhale, reach our right leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it through, high lunge. Inhale here. And then exhale, open up to warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, start to reach forward, triangle pose. Inhale and triangle. And then exhale. Inhale, turn the face to the side of your mat. We're going into that wide forward fold. Take an inhale breath. And exhale, slowly start to rise back up. Turn your feet out. Find goddess pose. Arms up towards the sky. Inhale, breath. And exhale. Inhale, straighten the front legs. Turn to face the front of your room. And then come into a low lunge here. So we're not going to take that lizard lunge. Instead, I want you to grab a block, grab the book. So I'm going to start here. And I'm going to have both hands sort of supported. So I want you to be supported on something. And then start to walk your foot up a little bit further. And then I want you to put all of the weight into the right foot. So like start to shift your weight into the right foot and really start to squeeze that right glute, the outer right glute. And then we're going to slowly bring our left foot off of the mat, straighten the front leg, straighten the back leg. We're in warrior 3, supported. So we're inhaling here, 1, and exhale. See if you can find one long line of energy between the front of the room and the back of the room. So the crown of your head and the back of your leg, back of your foot. Pull the low belly in, draw the ribs together. Keep a soft bend in the front knee. Keep breathing. One more breath here. And then exhale, release. Your back leg down. Move the blocks out of the way. Place your palms on the ground. Move through chaturanga. And inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Inhale, reach your left leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it through. Rise for high lunge. Inhale here, switching so you can see. And then exhale, open up to warrior 2. Inhale here. And exhale. Straighten the front leg, start to reach forward. Triangle pose. Inhale, breath. And exhale. Inhale, 2. And as you exhale, turn to face the side of your mat. Find that wide-legged forward fold. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, rise. Turn your feet out, find goddess pose. Pull the tailbone in, tuck the ribs, reach your arms up to the sky. Inhale, breath. And exhale, straighten the legs. We're turning to face the front of our mat again. Get my bolsters. And we're coming to that high lunge with our hands on to something. Here. I don't do that. So we're going to shift. We're going to start to walk our back foot up a little bit further. And then start to put all the weight into that left foot and engage the left glute. And then lift the right leg up. Start to straighten the front leg, straighten the back leg. Take an inhale breath here. Pull the ribs together, pull the belly in. Keep a soft bend in that front knee. Keep breathing. One more breath. And then exhale, slowly start to bend the front knee, step that back foot down towards the ground. Remove the block, step back into plank pose, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Okay, so we're moving through that one more time. We're gonna add one more thing to that, and then we'll start to pull down. Where are we at? Downward facing dog? Yeah, okay. So on the inhale breath, reach your right leg to the sky. And then exhale, step it through. Rise for high lunge, inhale. Exhale, open it up, warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Start to reach forward. Exhale, triangle pose. Take an inhale breath in triangle. Exhale, turn to face the side of the room. Forward fold, wide legs. Take an inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Turn your feet out, goddess pose. Sink your hips low. Reach up. Inhale here. And exhale. Start to rise. We're turning to face the front of our mat again. If you want to continue using those bolsters, please do. If you want a little extra challenge, no bolsters in warrior three. So we're gonna, I'm gonna go without, but continue what we just did if you want to use those bolsters. So placing your hands onto the bolster. So start to walk your foot a little bit forward. Take all the way into that right leg, to the right glute, and then start to tip forward, warrior three. Take an inhale breath. And exhale. Keep the back leg as straight as possible. Keep that back foot flexed, like you're stamping the wall behind you. Pull the low belly and draw the ribs together. Take one more breath here. Okay, now here's where we're adding on. On the exhale, we're gonna bend our back knee and start to squat. So take your back knee to your right quad. So this is called a Shiva squat. So then we're extending back and then squatting. Extending back and squatting. One more here, extend back. Last one, and squat. And then just take your foot down towards to meet your right and forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing. Inhale, reach your left leg to the sky. And then exhale, bring it through, step it forward, high lunge. I'm gonna turn. Inhale here. And then exhale, open up warrior two. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, straighten the front leg, start to tip forward, triangle pose. Inhale here. And then exhale, turn to face the side of your mat, wide-legged forward fold. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, start to rise. Turn your feet out to face the side of the room. Come into that squat pose. Reach your arms up. Sink a little lower. Take an inhale. And exhale. Start to straighten the front legs, or sorry, both legs. And then turn to face the side of the mat. Side of the front of the room, my bad. So your left leg should be forward. Yes, okay. And then set up those bolsters. We're coming into that warrior three again. So walk your back foot in a little bit. Put all the weight into that left foot. And then I'm gonna come here for that modified or that up level. And just start to lift your right leg up. Yep. And then keep the hips super squared here. So if you're feeling like you're opening up this way, drop that right hip down so that it's level with the left. Keep that back leg super, super straight and super engaged. Keep a soft bend in the left knee. Take one more inhale breath here. And we're going to start to squat. So bring that knee to the calf. Inhale, extend, and then exhale, squat. Inhale, extend, and exhale, squat. And one more, inhale, extend, exhale, squat. And then just place your right foot left next to your left and fold forward. Take an inhale, come up halfway. And then exhale, chaturanga. Let's meet in downward facing dog. So you can go directly to downward facing dog or meet us wherever you want to go. Okay, so we're in downward dog. We're going to start to cool down now. That was the last of the standing. So start to walk your feet towards the front of your mat to meet your hands. And then I want you to have a block nearby if you need it. You may be open enough in the hips to go into this full squat, but we're gonna just have it nearby just in case. So you're gonna take your feet as wide as your mat, and you want your toes, you want like in a plie squat, so how we were in goddess pose, you want your feet facing outwards. And you're just gonna start to squat down. So it kind of looks like this. If you need to have a block under your sits bones, I highly recommend it if you cannot get your spine totally straight. So I don't want any of this where your back is curved and you can't you know what I mean? So I just want you to sit so your spine's super straight. So if you need a block there to do that, please do. I want you to maintain the integrity of the spine. And then use, so your hands are in prayer, and then I want you to use your elbows and your knees and press them into each other. So you're sort of creating this opposite resistance to create some stability. And then when you do that, you can actually pull your chest through your shoulders and create even more length in the spine. So we're inhaling here, and then exhale. Inhale, 2, and exhale. One last breath, inhale, and exhale out. If you have a block underneath you, remove it. We're just gonna sit back, boom, and come into boat pose. So boat, we're on our, we're sort of like on our sits bones, our sacrum. So if you just sort of like adjust your glute muscles to get it out of the way, and we're coming into boat. So the first part of boat is right here. So your toes are onto the mat. This is like level 1. And then level 2 is bringing your feet up. Level 3 is straightening the arms and releasing the legs. Level 3 is straightening the legs. So anywhere you want to go, I'm just going to stay right here for now. We're going to hold boat for just 30 seconds or so. Just a little bit of core to end the class. So we're going to take 10 deep breaths together, and I'll count it down for us. So let's take one big inhale breath together. And exhale out the mouth. Inhale, 1. And exhale. Inhale, 2. And exhale. Pull the belly in, pull the ribs together. Inhale, 4. And exhale. Inhale, 5. Squeeze the thighs together. And exhale. Inhale, 6. Exhale out. You can do this. Inhale, 7. Few more breaths. Exhale. Inhale, 8. 3 more breaths. You got this. Exhale. Inhale, 9. Exhale. 1 more breath. Inhale. And then exhale, release. Good job. Okay, so we're going to come onto our backs. So just come onto your back and take the palm or the soles of your feet about hip distance apart, and our knees are bent. You're going to take your right leg and cross your right foot over your left knee. We're coming to a supine figure 4. So this is where I'm going to be. If you want to go further in this, if you have pigeon actually in your practice, I would do pigeon instead of this. But wherever you want to go with this. So I'm going to stay here. I'm just going to stay on a supine figure 4. So this is level 1. Level 2 is picking your left foot off of the ground and pressing your right palm into your right knee forward. And then level 3, you lace your interlace your hands behind your left thigh in between your knee and your thigh, and then just pull forward. So I'm here, and I'm just pulling everything in towards my chest. So deep breaths here. One more breath here, or a couple if you want to stay in here. Last breath, inhale. And then exhale, release. Come back into or both feet are flat on the floor. And then we're going to take our left foot and cross it over our right knee. So if you're in pigeon, just switch sides. And then level 1 is here. Level 2, pick that right foot up off the ground. Press the left hand into the left knee. And then level 3, reach through the thighs and interlace your fingers behind the right thigh, and just pull into your chest. Keep that left foot flexed. Actually, keep both feet flexed here. Just helps protect the knee. Couple deep breaths here. Time. And then exhale, release. And then we're going to come into bridge pose. So I want you to walk your feet back towards your glutes, so that and then like scoot your glutes forward so that you can graze your feet with your fingertips, your ankles with your fingertips. And then our feet are about hips width distance apart. Our knees are about hips width distance apart as well. And our palms are facing down on the mat, and we're going to use the strength of our glutes and our quads to lift our hips up. So this is bridge pose. And then I want you to think about on your feet, pressing into the ball on the inside edge of your foot. Lift your hips up using your quads, using your glutes, using your back muscles. Take an inhale breath. And exhale, lift a little bit higher. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale here. And exhale, slowly start to lower back down. We're going to do that one more time. If you're really open in the back, I welcome you to take full wheel on this next one. I'm just going to do bridge, and I encourage most others to do bridge because we haven't really warmed up for back bends. But if that's really easy for you, and if you are super flexible in your back, go for full wheel here. So take one more inhale breath. Start to lift your hips up in space. And exhale, lift them a little higher. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale 2. Exhale out. Inhale 1. And exhale, slowly start to lower down, all the way back down. Draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice little squeeze. And then make some circles with your knees so that you're massaging the low back. And then cross your right leg over your left. Take your arms out wide like a T, and then just drop your legs over to the left side. So we're coming into a supine twist. Make sure that right shoulder is planted firmly onto the mat. Take a deep breath here. And exhale. Inhale 2. And exhale out. Inhale 3. Exhale. Slowly start to rise. Draw your knees back into the center, into your chest. Giving yourself another squeeze, a little rock side to side. And then take that left knee over the right. Arms out to a T and drop your knees over to the right. Supine twist on the other side. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. One last breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, draw your knees back into your chest. Give yourself one final squeeze. So this time I want you to wrap your arms around around your knees, the inside of your knees, and curl up into a really, really small ball. Take an inhale breath here. Squeeze even further. Just squeeze as tight as you can. And then exhale, release into final Shavasana, your final resting pose. If you have a pillow nearby, I recommend putting it underneath your thighs, giving the low back a little release. And just make some space for yourself here. So open your arms wide, open your legs wide, let your feet hang out to the side, to the outer edge, and start to slowly release everything that you've practiced here today, every thought that you've had, every muscle that you've worked. Just let that go. Close your eyes. Let's just do a quick little body scan. So starting with the toes, release any tension that you're feeling in the toes. You wiggle them just for an extra little release. And then into the tops of the feet. And the ankles, release any tension that you have there. Let them hang heavy. And into the shins, the calves. Unclench the calf. Relax the kneecap. And the quads, release any clench or tightness in the quads. And then in the hips. And take special care here because we worked a lot of those today. Just notice how your hips are feeling after today's class. And just release any tension that you have there. And then in the belly, let go of the breath. Let go of any tension that you're holding in the abdominal. And then the ribs, let go of the breath again. And the chest. Release any tension that you have in the shoulders, in the arms, the fingertips. Unclench the jaw. Keeping the eyes closed, but just so lightly so that they almost are fluttering. Remove the crease from your forehead. And then release any tension in the crown of your head. Shavasana. I welcome you to stay here as long as you'd like. I'm going to sign off and let you have as long of a Shavasana as you need, as you want. And thank you so much for joining me on this practice. I appreciate each and every one of you. You can stay here as long as you want. I recommend at least 5 minutes. Honestly, it's a 5-minute Shavasana is the best thing ever. Namaste, guys. Love you guys.